This is NewsVISION for Wednesday, September 20th. Midland College trustees are expected to approve a new contract for President David Daniel at the board's next meeting in October. On Tuesday, the board okayed negotiations to commence between Daniel and board member Ralph Way. Negotiations that will likely see Daniel's annual salary bumped from $160,000 to $170,000. Included in that package would also be a $50 per month nudge in the president's housing allowance. Board members also studied the possibility of up to a $10 million expansion to the Chaparral Center. The add-ons would be privately funded and would result in an additional 36,000 to 37,000 square feet, which would include an extra entrance off of I Street, landscaping, benches, and patterned concrete. The presentation for the upgrades was made by Jay Edwards of the architectural firm Parkhill Smith & Cooper. Cultural exchange, meeting people you don't know, and learning things you never knew. Just three things that San Jacinto 7th grader Desiree Baker said she liked about Tuesday night's Pachanga, a celebration at Midland's Hidalgo Park. Hosted by Comunidad in Action, event organizers say between 200 and 300 turned out for the community block party. They were treated to entertainment by acts like the folklorical dancers and the musical group Matador, as well as vendors who provided important community service information. Organizers with the HEB Feast of Sharing report they're on track in planning for this year's 5th annual event, which will be held November 3rd at the Midland County Horseshoe. It's the first time it's been at the Horseshoe in the event's history. The Feast of Sharing's biggest challenge, in fact, is likely educating the public of the event's change of location. But HEB's Renee Duran says the committee working to put the event together plans to make certain everyone knows.
We're getting the word out through media. We are getting the word out just through all the churches, the local churches, and all our friends in the community. So the word is getting out.
This year's Feast of Sharing again from 4 to 8 p.m. Friday, November 3rd. The event usually attracts between 3,000 and 5,000 visitors who are all treated to a free Thanksgiving dinner. Now, here's a 60-second wrap on news from around the world by the Associated Press.
This is AP News in a minute. A wave of violence has gripped Baghdad. At least 45 people have been killed in the past 24 hours. This comes as Saddam Hussein's team of lawyers staged a walkout during today's genocide trial. They're protesting a change in judges. One day after delivering a much-anticipated speech at the United Nations, President Bush remains in New York. This morning he meets with Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas to discuss the Mideast peace process. The number of people sickened by E. coli from tainted spinach has risen to more than 130 now. FDA inspectors have been visiting California farms looking for the source of the contamination. A celebration this morning in space as a Russian Soyuz space capsule carrying a U.S.-Russian crew and the first woman space tourist docked with the International Space Station. Meantime, the Atlantis astronauts will conduct a more extensive inspection of the shuttle's heat shield after spending several hours this morning checking for any possible damage. That after a small object was spotted yesterday floating away from the shuttle. John Belmont, the Associated Press, with AP News in a minute.
In today's Midland Reporter Telegram, also check out stories on the new MISD Dropout Task Force. Bynum School students are busily making rag dolls they plan to send to underprivileged children around the world. And a Midland teenager was treated and released at Midland Memorial Hospital following this accident. In today's weather forecast, mostly sunny with a high in the upper 80s. Tonight's low will be about 60 degrees. In sports, Midland High and Lee both victorious in their volleyball matches against Odessa's teams. Tonight's televised sports action, Detroit at the Chicago White Sox, 7 o'clock on ESPN. And the Rangers host Seattle at 7 on Fox Sports Southwest. That is NewsVision for this Wednesday, September 20th. I'm Jimmy Patterson.